Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Cigar Chat, brought to you live on CigarFederation.com, broadcast around the world in the Armed Forces Radio Network. Thank you for joining us wherever you are out there in the lovely world today. Robbie Raz here with you as always from Cigar Federation. In somewhat overcast California, but it's been in the 70s, Logan. It's been kind of nice.
It was 82 in Austin, Texas today.
Woo, girl, that's way too warm.
I know, dude. It
for
was
this time of
nice,
year.
man.
That's too warm, man. That's scary warm.
I know, man. I'm feeling like it might be a little bit of a warm summer.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, we've got some rain coming in the forecast again, so that's good. But other than that, things are good. How's the family? How's everything going?
You know, it was good. I have to say that ever since Callaway had her little ear tube thing done, she's picked up a lot of words like she has this rocking horse called Henry the Horse. And you know how she says Henry? Henry. It's like the cutest little thing ever. And I've got it on like record and I play it when I'm sad. It's awesome.
Your transformation, just as a father from when you first had Callaway to now.
I would have put her up for adoption. I hated her. It's like the first 3 months I would have just offer.
It's kind of amazing. And we actually have, you can go back and watch old Cigar Chat episodes and get that at the beginning about how much you're not sleeping and you're very disgruntled.
I was a very angry father.
Is the way that I put it. But anyway, that's good. I'm glad that the ear tubes are working out for her and everything's good.
Everything's good.
We've got, you know what, Casey, I didn't ask you this before we went live, but how do I say your last name?
Al Delaney.
Oh, okay, so just how it looks.
Yeah.
Casey Al Delaney from Alec Bradley Cigars here with us today. Thanks for taking the time, Casey. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys for having me.
How do you say your name? Aluminium?
No. He's not on the periodic table.
I know. That's how the Brits say aluminum. Aluminium. It's quite awesome.
That's not right.
How do you say it? I didn't hear.
Al Delaney.
Al Delaney.
Al Delaney. Delaney, right?
Delaney.
Delaney. Right. Yeah. Just the way it looks, Logan.
That's not how it looks.
Not imperioso. Can't you read?
Yeah.
Dude, I've got a 6th grade education. I can't read anything.
So on that note, just want to give a quick shout out to all of our podcast listeners. We appreciate the support that you guys give us. We see that you guys are checking in all over the globe, and you obviously find us on iTunes from the podcast. We've got a 5-star rating, Logan, on iTunes.
Highest rated cigar podcast, and not to toot our own horn or anything, but the largest cigar podcast in the world.
Going out to millions and millions of people.
It, Cigar Dave.
I'm kind of okay with tooting your own horn, but I mean the reason I brought up iTunes is if you're downloading us off iTunes, go ahead and give us a subscribe and leave us some feedback. Let us know. Give us
tell us how bad Rob sucks.
Yeah, if you want Logan to just turn his camera off so we don't have to see him, although you're listening to the podcast, that wouldn't really matter, but you could say it anyway. Yeah. Just give us some feedback and let us know.
Don't be lazy.
Yeah, just give us some feedback. That's good. So, and while Casey lights up his cigar, Logan, I'm kind of excited, man. This is the first time we've had someone from Alec Bradley on the show, and I'll be the first to admit that the presence of Alec Bradley on Cigar Federation is painfully low. What do you think?
In terms of us smoking Alec Bradley, or just
in general? Like, I feel like we never really we don't do any reviews. And I want to change that. That's why I'm happy that we have Casey on the show and we can start talking because there's a bunch of cigars there and they're really good cigars.
There's a lot of cigars I've never even heard of.
And yeah, there's a lot that I think just from a community standpoint need to talk about more. So we're going to start that tonight. So Casey, give us like I said, you're actually a West Coast rep for Alec Bradley, correct?
I am the South Coast regional manager. I cover California, Arizona, Nevada. I only had California for about first year and a half, and I got a promotion. They call it a promotion. I got more territory, Arizona, Nevada. I'm actually in Phoenix right now, sitting in a hotel room.
Nice, Phoenix. What's the weather like down there?
Is it 87 today?
87, but it's a dry heat though.
Yeah, but it's a dry heat, dog.
It was actually freaking nice outside. Beautiful day.
87 on February 10th. I don't care where you are. It's not right. It's not right. It's just, well, I mean, maybe.
It was Groundhog Day.
We just had it.
It was 90 degrees when I left California 2 days ago.
Early this week, I think Monday, it was a beautiful, beautiful day at the Oakland airport, which Oakland never gets warm. It's right there on the water. Checked in at 81. That's hot. That's a hot day in Oakland any time of year, let alone February. But
I miss Groundhog Day.
it's funny. I was talking to my wife about this. We rely on some weird traditions and really put stock in the fact of like letting a groundhog tell us about, like a rodent tell us about the weather, and kind of ignore some scientific facts sometimes. It's kind of weird. But I don't know if it's Puxatawny Phil, right? Isn't that his name?
Yep. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Puxatawny Phil. He did see a shadow.
So what does that mean? We're screwed.
I think so.
All right, let's talk about cigars, because Puxatawny Phil's not bringing it to the table for me. So, Casey, give us some of your background. How did you get involved with in the industry and with Alec Bradley specifically?
I've been smoking cigars for a long time. I started smoking cigars at 16. And
you mean 18?
I'm sorry?
You mean 18?
Well, back then, during the Civil War, you could smoke cigars at a younger age. No, I was stealing cigars at 16.
There you go.
Perfect. My grandfather.
Okay.
And I moved on, and I moved to Europe. I went to school in Europe. And I kept smoking European cigars, and I had no idea until I came back to the States, really about Nicaraguans and Hondurans and Dominicans. And my early career in the cigar business, I worked in retail shops in San Diego. I worked in a couple of retail shops in San Diego. I don't know if you're familiar with a lot of shops down there. And I was one of the original guys on a couple of the Facebook groups. Really enjoyed smoking cigars and pairings and stuff like that. And I guess I got the attention of a couple of companies, and I saw that one of the companies was hiring. It was actually the second company that I had applied for. And after 3 months of interrogations and interviews, I finally got the job. It was the most intensive interview process I had ever been through.
And that was with Alec Bradley?
Yeah.
And so you've been with Alec Bradley the whole time?
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So how many years?
3 years.
Okay, awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. Like I've noticed. That's one thing I've noticed about this industry, and Logan, you might want to comment on this too. But
the reps are always gaming the system and jumping ship. Yeah.
I wasn't going to say that. it feels like this is the type of industry that has a lot of turnover. Especially in the sales positions that I've noticed. So to see you be with one company the whole time that's a testament to you, but it's also a testament to the company as well.
They treat us really, really well.
So you don't want to leave?
It would be really hard for me to consider even leaving. It would have to be something extremely dramatic or drastic for me to even consider it. I'm just really happy with what I'm doing. I love the product line. We have a really good product line. The consumers really love the cigars when they smoke them. So, God forbid I got stuck with something I didn't enjoy smoking. It would be a hard sell.
That'd be like my worst nightmare. That would be horrible.
I mean, you're running around the country slinging a product that you
don't even smoke.
You don't even like. You're going to events and you're switching bands because you're smoking somebody else's stuff, but you want to make it look right.
Yeah, that would be difficult.
Yeah, that would definitely suck. So Alec Bradley, I mean, they've come on. I mean, you guys have come on a lot over the last few years, and as I was gaining my cigar knowledge, and I mean, obviously, it's still if you watch the show at all, you know it's an ongoing process. Alec Bradley was one of the cigars that I was smoking pretty regularly at the beginning. The Tempest, the original Tempest, and the Tempest Maduro were two of my go-to cigars. The Black Market, when it first came out. Are you guys still making the Black Market?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one of my favorite cigars when it came out as well.
That's our number one seller.
Is that right?
Yeah, the Black Market.
And and you guys do some fun stuff too. The Filthy Hooligan, which I know you got some flack on the name a couple of years ago, but who cares? I don't think I'm not offended by it.
Did the Mundial? Wouldn't you like shoot a monkey up into space smoking a Mundial or something crazy like that?
We did. It was actually an orangutan.
I knew it was something like some sort of primate and a cigar being smoked in space. Well, why don't you tell us what really happened? Because I know monkeys aren't allowed to smoke.
That's a hell of a. That's just an image, man.
I know it would be hella cool though.
Just a monkey smoking a cigar in space.
So it was actually my first year in the business, 3 years ago. It was my first IPCPR in Vegas. And we were having our sales meeting at the Palms at Phil Malouf's penthouse, which is, I think, the 40th floor of the penthouse. Phenomenal. Like a $35, $40 million penthouse. Ridiculous.
That's the Rain Man suite.
Swimming. Yeah. Well, that's actually in the residence building right next door to the casino. So they have the casino, and then right next door is the Palms residence.
Oh, wow.
It's all residential. And this is the penthouse suite. It's about 4,000 square feet with a swimming pool up there, like a 2,000 square foot dance deck, just craziness. So after the sales meeting, they told us about this brand new cigar, the Mundial, that they were launching, which means worldwide. And they brought in a company, and what they had is they had all the sizes in this plexiglass case, and there was a case underneath it that held more Mundials. So all 5 sizes were in this case with a video camera attached to the case so it could videotape what was going inside the case the whole time. And a tracking unit. So they filled it up with a hot air weather balloon, attached it to the weather balloon, and we launched it into space from the top of the penthouse, which was really amazing. So it went up to, I think, like 10,000 feet, if I wasn't mistaken, maybe a little bit higher. It went up to the atmosphere. And then the balloon exploded, and then it came down with a parachute and drifted down, and then they had a team go out in the desert and bring it back. And it was kind of cool watching the video of it going up into space. You watch the ice crystals form on the plexiglass, and then you watch it come back down. Have you guys ever seen the video of it?
I need to watch it.
That's what I was going to say. There needs to be a video.
10,000 feet, because I mean, you can breathe at 10,000 feet without an oxygen mask.
It must have been higher than that.
About like 100,000.
Yeah, maybe.
It was pretty high up there. But it was pretty impressive. It was pretty.
Hey, I was gonna say. I mean, there's one thing that some of the guys will say on Cigar Federation, like pics or it didn't happen. So like if you found some great cigar, show us a photo or you didn't really get it.
It was a full video. It was a full video.
I need the video. I got to see it.
Can I find it on YouTube?
Yes, you can. Put in Mundial video.
Or just put monkey into space.
I don't think there was a monkey. Was there a monkey?
There should have been a monkey.
There was no freaking monkey.
Every story is better when there's a monkey, though. Well, that's not every story, but anyway.
Sometimes it's chicken.
Oh, here we go.
So not only did this actually happen, but you were part of it.
Yeah, it was pretty exciting. It was an unbelievable way to start my journey with the company because I had started just 2 months before the IPCPR in May.
Okay.
And it was a pretty phenomenal thing to be a part of.
You just jumped right into the fire, didn't you?
Yeah, and it really gave me a depth and a vision of what the company was about. You know, I had always enjoyed the cigars. You mentioned the Tempest earlier. That was my first love of Alec Bradley when they launched the Tempest, and it scored a 94. So I immediately went out and got it, and I really fell in love with that cigar. That cigar hits my palate right. Yeah. The amount of spice, the amount of flavor, the earthiness. I sent you a brand new Tempest, both of you.
The Nicaragua.
I sent you the Nicaragua, but I sent you the natural. The natural is reblended to that original recipe when we scored the 94.
Oh, okay.
And I think it's even better. It's really hitting hard. It's really good.
Wow. I actually have, from back in the day, I still have some of those, the Tempest and the Tempest Maduros that have the old bands on them. I've still got some of those they've got at least 4 years on them.
Really?
I would say at least. I've got 4 of each because I bought back in the day, I bought them on cigar.com or something to that effect, and it was some kind of special deal, and I got 2 10-packs of each for some screaming deal, and I was really pumped when I got it because they were cigars that I liked, and I've still got a few of them, so I'm curious to see how those age. Maybe I'll do a little side-by-side comparison. That might be kind of cool.
They actually age really well. I've smoked some older Prinsados and older Tempests. There's something about that tobacco that they use at Raices that really, really ages well. It has this ability to meld, and the floral notes really start to come out.
Awesome. Awesome. So we've got.
Dude, this video's mesmerizing.
It is.
You're watching it now. It's
I'm watching it.
We'll have to. You know what? We'll put it. Hey, Logan. Since you're not really doing anything, why don't you copy that photo and put it on the Cigar Federation Cigar Chat page so people can see it.
Okay.
Boom. Give you something to do. And I'm going to scroll through some of these audience questions here. Just a reminder, everybody, you're listening to Cigar Chat, brought to you live on CigarFederation.com. Broadcast around the world in the Armed Forces Radio Network. We're here with Casey Aldwani.
We're here with Casey. Al Delaney.
Al Delaney. Al Delaney. M or N?
You got a nickname?
Al Delaney.
Call you?
Yeah, Casey.
Just call him Casey. Yeah, we'll just
There
call
we
him
go.
Casey. Logan, this next segment is brought to us by who?
This next segment is, let me refocus my attention here. This next segment is brought to us by our good friends at Drew Estate. Drew Estate Cigars. Good. Back to you, Rob. That's what you get when you don't give me a read, Sam.
that is salesmanship at its best.
I mean, they're that good. They don't require any talking. Just good.
Well, I know we mentioned last time that that Drew Estate is now distributing Debonair cigars, which I think is pretty cool because Debonair cigars are really good.
And
Phil's
Indian, and then the new
Indian motorcycle.
Yeah. And you got a new one, the Ranch Hand or Cattle Baron. Takes me back to my younger days.
To your home when you're
to my homeland, Dale Lawler, the Cattle Baron of Southeast Missouri.
Growing some
Talk about a title, Lord of Buckingham. Screw that, Dale Lawler, the Cattle Baron of Southeast Missouri.
That's I don't know. Sometimes I just don't know what to do.
What are you drinking?
I'm sorry?
What are you drinking?
Well, I am big on the craft beer these days, and I'm drinking an offering from a local brewery called Highwater Brewing, and I'm drinking Hop Logic. It's their Imperial IPA, and it's coming in at a solid 9.5% ABV, and it's quite tasty.
Nice.
Very very juicy. I know when you go with a heavier IPA, I've found that it's either gets really, really hoppy or it gets really, really juicy. This is more on the juicy side, which is really, really nice.
That's the type of IPAs that I'm usually into, the juicier ones.
Yeah. This is good. And the areas that you're traveling in, you're finding some pretty good beers, I imagine, if you're a beer guy.
Yeah, I try to hit Russian River at least 3-4 times a year when I'm up there.
I was just up there not this past weekend, but 2 weekends ago.
I love the Pliny.
Oh yeah, you can't miss. I actually I have a growler that I bring and I fill it up every time I go, and I try to fill it with something different. And they had a Imperial Porter called Shadow of a Doubt Imperial Porter, and Russian River is not known for their dark beers at all. They're known for their Pliny, their double IPA, the Blind Pig is a regular IPA, and their sours. But that Imperial Porter was really good. I ended up filling my growler with it, so it was. I was really impressed. I'm a dark beer guy, but I was excited to see that they had a nice Imperial Porter. But that's a lot of fun going up there. I see that they're going to expand. Actually.
Yeah, they're always so packed when I go over there.
They do a really good job. We got there, and we'll get back to cigars in a minute, I promise. We got there. I was with some buddies, and we got there about 15 minutes before they opened. So it was a real short line, and we were going to eat, and we had 5 or 6 people with us, so we needed to get a table. But they do a really good job of filtering people in and out, so when you're inside, it doesn't feel like it's too crowded. You don't feel rushed. But they also do a really good job of keeping a line out front, so it looks better. The line always draws extra people, so. But they do a really good job up there. So I've got some questions here now. I'm gonna ask you this, Casey, before we go into the questions. Some of these questions are really referring to types of tobaccos that are used and things of that nature. How comfortable are you with taking on those questions?
Oh, we'll see where we go.
Okay. I'm just going to jump in here. We're going to start with Charlie. Charlie Haskell. He's one of the most active,
horrible person,
and controversial. Well, I say controversial members of Cigar Federation. He says, I noticed that you guys use a lot of Honduran tobacco in your blends. So what is it about Honduran leaf that you guys like so much?
Well, we use Honduran and Nicaraguan.
Mm-hmm.
Depending on the specific cigar, it's either a puro or it's a blend. In reality, one of the reasons I think originally why Raices was chosen was they grow some very specific type of tobacco that's very different than what anybody else uses. It's grown in the Torojos region. I don't know if you guys are familiar.
I'm not all that familiar with Honduras.
What was the region?
It's the Torojos region.
Isn't that where you grow the wrapper for the Prensado?
Absolutely correct.
Look at you, Logan. Gold Star.
Gold Star logo.
I don't have to talk. I'm just reading about weather balloons right now to see how high these freaking cigars went up in the air, man.
So,
My Adderall's wearing off.
the tobacco has a very sweet flavor to it. A lot of times you hear leathery. It's very different. It's very unique to us. It's our signature. And, you know, a lot of people go, oh, that's an Alec Bradley. Oh, I could tell that's an Alec Bradley. We use, I mean, other than some of the newer cigars that we've made, like the Tempest Nicaragua is 100% Nicaraguan, and we'll go into that later. The Nica Puro is 100% Nicaraguan. The Tempest Natural uses both Nicaraguan and Honduran. So, but generally speaking, you know, we are pretty well known for that specific type of tobacco that Rice's grows. I'm smoking the Coyol. I don't know if you guys are familiar what Coyol means.
There's
Translate it for me.
It's Coyol to you. You're a funny guy, I can tell. So the Coyol is...
I try.
The Coyol is a specific type of palm tree. La Vieja Coyol means the palm tree farm. And this specific farm that the Rice's factory owns, it is surrounded by these palm trees. And most of the components of the cigar come from this specific farm. And the taste and flavor of this cigar I've never experienced in any other cigar. A lot of hints of cocoa, not chocolate, but cocoa. It has a nice spice to it, but also a sweetness that you get in the finish. Very, very different, very unique. You know, a lot of people blend with the same tobaccos. There's only so much different that you could do. But we have specific proprietary tobaccos that we only use, so our cigars taste a little bit different.
I like it. That was a. I like the answer because you had an answer for that, and sometimes, and the reason I say that is, you're more on the sales side. So when a lot of the questions that we'll get are sometimes can be really blend specific. But you did that, and then you got us talking about other specific cigars. That was really well done. That was fun. I like that.
So, quick question. I mean, Raíces, I didn't realize they grew their own tobacco. I thought it was just a factory. And does Eduardo Fernandez still own it, or is he not involved anymore?
They've never owned it.
He was a part owner, right?
Not to the best of my knowledge.
I feel like he had his hand in it somewhere.
I think they bought tobacco from him more than anything, from the best that I know. These
Eduardo bought. I mean, Aganorsan tobacco, right? So he bought other tobacco other than Aganorsan from Raíces. I didn't even realize they grew their own tobacco.
Yeah, they have actually a handful of farms.
Huh.
They're completely vertically integrated.
I did not know that.
And most of the production out of Raíces goes to us. It's about 95% of everything produced. We have our hands in the factory. The only other cigars that were produced there, and some of it still is produced there, is Ilusión and Viaje, as you guys know.
Interesting.
So, and the factory is unbelievable, man. There was some stuff that I seen at the factory that I really didn't expect to see, like draw test machines. I had no idea that every one of our cigars goes through a draw test machine. And the consistency and the quality of the cigars. You know, we were standing on the catwalk. I don't know if you guys ever been to a factory?
You know, I don't think there's any way that anybody's ever going to get me into Honduras, man.
No, man. I won't come back without my liver or something. They'll steal my kidney.
No. I've seen the path that the planes take to land in there.
Oh, man.
I don't want anything to do with it. Nothing.
Tegucigalpa Airport is the third most dangerous airport in the world to land at.
I'm good.
But I got to tell you, it was one of the best experiences, too.
It's funny. I feel like I don't even want to go into it because I feel like we've talked about this so many times. And whenever somebody's talking about Honduras, I always bring it up. But man, I don't like landing at like Joe Bob's Everybody Airport, and let alone an airport like that. I don't mind flying. It's just that I'm good. I'll pass.
So long story short, so you've never been to Nicaragua or the Dominican either?
No, I've been to Nicaragua twice. Logan, you've been more than I have.
Okay, all right. So long story short, I'm sure you've seen at a lot of these factories, they have the catwalks that are on top.
Mm-hmm.
Yes? So when we were standing the first day on top of the catwalk, I was standing next to Alan, and Alan says to me, the most important thing that you're doing here is watching for motion and movement. I didn't understand at first. I'm like, motion and movement? He goes, yeah, I can tell if somebody's doing something wrong on the floor because of their motion and movement. Because when they're rolling the cigars or they're grabbing tobacco, it's the same motion and movement. If something is out of place, then you know they're doing it wrong.
Interesting.
So my eyes from the top watch them, and it's almost like watching an orchestra. The hand is always moving in the same motion, bunching up, handing to the roller puts it down and rolls in the same direction. So if that changes at all, your eyes pick up on it immediately. And that's how the supervisors know if they're doing the job right or wrong when they're watching the guys rolling the cigars.
So it's not like the guys that used to walk the catwalks in Vegas and looking for cheaters. It's a little bit different.
It's pretty much the same thing. You know, in Vegas, when they're walking the catwalks, they're looking for the same thing: motion and movement. Stuff that stands out from the common thing that you normally do. So that's what always when you're, you know, my background is psychology. That's what I studied. Same exact thing. You're watching people, motion and movement. What's different? What are they giving you that's totally different than what you would expect? Same concept.
Huh. Yeah, see, I think of the first place that my head goes to when you start talking about that is a pitcher watching some video to fix something that's wrong in his mechanics. That's where my head goes. Because pitchers and catchers are going to report here pretty soon. I'm a big baseball guy, and when your mechanics get out of whack, boy, you're screwed.
So in the hotel right now, the whole Anaheim, is it the Angels? Yeah, Anaheim Angels that stay here.
Really?
Yeah. So I ran into a couple of them last night.
If you see Mike Trout,
yeah.
Now he's the white guy with the really thick neck. Looks like a linebacker.
I know who it is.
If you see him, you got to get a little video and have him say that Cigar Federation is awesome. How about that?
It's going to cost you, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, we'll work on it. Yeah, Logan, you'll cover that, right?
Yeah, let me just dig into the deep Cigar Federation bank account.
Yeah, we've got backups. We've got plenty of backup stories, so that's no problem. Jump back some of these audience questions here. Jason Myers, I say it every week. It's like a broken record. Jason always asks really good questions. Let's see here. He says Alec Bradley has a very diverse portfolio of cigars, and I mean we've touched on that a little bit. I mean, you guys have something for just about every type of palate. So when it comes to sales, what's your best-selling cigar?
Black Market.
Is it the Black Market?
Black Market nationally does the best. But the really bizarre thing is cigars are sold by the people that smoke them. So I'll give you an example. I'm a huge Lancero smoker, pretty well known for that. I love Coronas. I love Lanceros. When I first started in the company, every store that I would go to would have to carry the Tempest Lancero. It was a given. So those sales in California increased significantly. Right now we have the post-embargo Lancero. I don't know if you guys have smoked that one yet that I sent you.
I haven't had a chance, but you did send us one. I'm looking forward to it.
Anything that I sent you that wasn't a Robusto was from my personal stash.
What's the post-embargo, other than it's post-embargo?
We'll get back to that in a second. Hold on.
Finish your story.
So a lot of times the best seller in a store has to do with what the guy, the rep, or the guy that represents the brand really likes to smoke. You know, I know in some territories, certain stores, the Gordos do extremely well because the store owner likes it or the rep was smoking it, and they do really well. So it has a lot to do with that in the specific store. There's certain specific store dynamics that are blow your mind. I have one store in northern Arizona, northern Phoenix area. He has like 150 kinds of Gordo. And you're like, yeah. And he says most of his customers are Gordo smokers. I think he turned them into Gordos.
But you know what? It's funny. We talk about this a lot, about what different Vitolas do well in different areas. I've never heard that. We've heard a lot of different things, but I've never heard that the that the rep or whoever's representing in that area really kind of puts that stuff in there, and that makes sense. I mean, if you like smoking Lanceros, and when you get in there, you're excited about it, because you're always going to be a little bit more excited about whatever it is that you like. So,
and most reps don't carry anything other than Robustos. So imagine if a rep walks in, he's smoking a Lancero, he hands you a Lancero, you're the store owner, you're like, wow, this is amazing. I'm like, you've never smoked a Lancero before? No. Let's bring some in. All of a sudden, he's telling people about his experience. Now Lanceros are selling again.
That's awesome. That's you're good at your job, man. I can tell you're good at your job. I got a follow-up question here, also from Jason Myers, which has to do with a very specific size here. He's curious how the Texas Lancero, which is the 7x70 Gordo, has been doing lately. He said he feels specifically that the trend towards bigger ring gauges might be fading a little bit.
I hope it fades. I hope it disappears. For a guy, like I have a couple of boxes of cigars that I carry around. So in one of my personal stash box, I will show you the 3 cigars that I probably smoke the most when I really want to sit around and enjoy a cigar. Even though I enjoy them all. Tempest Nicaragua Lancero, Coyol Petite Lancero, Tempest Natural, and the Genesis, which is a Corona size. So, Texas Lancero is a very interesting one, though. When we first brought it on, it was originally supposed to be just for the Texas market. And after a couple of months, they opened it up to all of us to be able to distribute to all of our accounts. So I was kind of uncomfortable about the whole idea of the cigar. But I started to talk to accounts about it, and I give them a sample, and they sit there and smoke it. And I watched their eyes light up, and it was really bizarre to me because I didn't expect that result. And I try to be open-minded about it, even though I had preconceived notions. And they started ordering it. And I would get a phone call. Hey, Casey, I can't believe this is true, but I need 2, I need 3, I need 4 boxes of Texas Lancero. And surprisingly, my territory does extremely well.
Wow.
Yeah.
A 7x70. Holy monkey. Logan, have you ever smoked a 7x70?
Only in my dreams, dog, that I don't remember.
Yeah.
That is very Freudian and a little bit weird, actually, but we're going to just pretend like it didn't happen and move forward.
There's no Texas Lanceros over here, buddy.
No, I know we gave Jared one at IPCPR last year to smoke, and I don't know that he ever actually did.
I doubt it.
A 7x70, man, that's just
a lot of tobacco.
Here's the reality of life, and a lot of guys don't realize it, or maybe it's misunderstood. The smaller the ring gauge, the more flavor and strength. The larger the ring gauge, the more smoke, and the cooler the smoke. So when you get into a 7x70, for whatever reason, they nailed it on the Texas Lancero, I have to tell you. I mean, it's a very enjoyable cigar if you want to smoke a 7x70. But, in the same blend, like if you go, let's say, example, Tempest. You have a Corona, you have a Robusto, you have a Toro, Churchill, a Gordo, right? So the flavor changes from the strongest to less strong on every ring gauge, as you would assume. So a lot of times if somebody smokes a cigar and they enjoy it, but it's not strong enough for them, go down a ring gauge. If it's too strong for you, go up a ring gauge. If you really like the flavor of tobacco, but you're like, it's just a little strong, go up a ring gauge. Try a larger cigar. Maybe that fits your palate a little bit better.
Yeah, it's there's some cigars, and Logan, I'll throw this to you when I'm done, but there are some cigars that shine in a larger ring gauge, and I'm not a big ring gauge guy, but some of the 60 ring gauges, some cigars do really well in that. One cigar that really pops into my head that I always loved as a larger ring gauge was the Nub Dub Maduro.
God, that's so gross.
The double Maduro. I always liked that cigar.
But you like the triple Maduro. You like all types of Maduro.
I like when you get that Maduro, you get that chewy, but you get that extra little sweetness in there. I always like that particular cigar. Go.
You smoke the 644 Cameroon in the nubs?
Not lately. I probably smoked it, but not enough to remember it.
It's a box pressed little nub.
Yeah.
Cameroon. That's a little bit of a larger ring gauge than I would normally smoke, but it was pretty fantastic back in the day. I used to smoke a lot of those.
Yeah, I mean, some cigars work, like the Muwats from Drew Estate. I mean, those work in a larger ring gauge.
No.
But some cigars, when you see them and they're available in a variety of ring gauges.
No, man.
And maybe that's it. You know, and actually, I might have just answered my own question. When there's a cigar that's available in a variety of ring gauges, when you get up to the higher end, not so much for me personally. But if it's only available in a large ring gauge, like the cigars that I mentioned, I don't know.
Maybe.
Interesting.
Logan, what's your favorite ring gauge?
Well, I mean, it depends, because there's certain cigars that I really like in certain ring gauges. But I would say, you know, I'm not a huge Lancero guy, but I would say anywhere from like a Corona, like say a 42, up to about a 52.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm personally more of a Lonsdale guy.
Okay.
When something's available in that 6x44 ish.
Corona Gorda probably.
Yeah,
6.5 or a 6x46 is a good size.
That's the, and we talk about that a lot here, and for the most.
I'm happy between 38 to 48. 38 to 44, I'm really happy. 38 to 48, I'm comfortable. I smoke Toros, I smoke Churchills, but the smaller ring gauge you really get a lot more depth out of the wrapper. And you know, it's the most expensive part of the cigar. I mean, I really want to taste that wrapper.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think if you know what you're doing in smoking cigars, then smaller ring gauges are enjoyable. But if you notice, I mean, I'm going to stereotype because I love stereotyping, is that typically the guys that are enjoying bigger ring gauges is because they're newer to cigars, and there's a lot more room for effing up. Like, if you smoke a Lancero too fast, it's going to suck. Like, I don't care what Lancero it is. It's going to get too hot. You're going to burn up all the essential oils. It's going to suck. But if you're over there chief Texas Lancero, I don't think it really matters how fast you actually smoke.
There's more room for error.
Yeah, absolutely.
Exactly.
That's
the larger cigars you can definitely smoke faster and huff and puff on, like you're blowing down a house.
Yeah, absolutely. So get back some more of these questions here. There's a lot of questions.
Like the big bad wolf, exactly.
There's a lot of questions here about a cigar that you guys have done for Gotham Cigars.
Yes, somebody wanted me to ask about that.
Yeah, and I'm just going to pick one, and it happens to be the one from Bob Dog. And he says, I recently heard about the Alec Bradley Maduro for Gotham Cigars, and was wondering if Alec Bradley does a lot of projects like this. Can you tell us, are you familiar with that cigar? I think it's out of your, it sounds like an East Coast thing. It might be out of your...
Is it Gotham Cigars in New York?
I would assume so, yeah.
I'm not really familiar with that particular cigar.
Okay.
We do a lot of private labels.
Oh, really?
We do a lot of private brands. In fact, there's a couple of national brands that are really big that we created the cigars for them. Of course, it was their palette and their blending with our help. But there is a couple of national brands where if you heard the name, you'd be like, huh, wow. And they're just the way it goes.
We'll take those answers offline.
What was the exact questions regarding the Gotham?
Well, there was a few people referencing the Gotham. This one question was from Bob. He was curious if you guys did more than that, and you answered that. Let's see. I'm gonna bear with me while I'm scrolling through. We've got a bunch of questions here. There was another one where he was asking more of.
What's the output of Raíces on a daily basis, cigar-wise?
Yeah, do that, Logan. While
I can't answer that, Logan. I honestly.
So why are you here? I'm just kidding, man. I'm totally messing with you.
Hey, you live in Texas, right?
I do.
Yeah? Okay, good.
I do.
Okay, good.
I live in Austin, so that makes me cool, man. It makes me a hipster.
I've got your address.
Isn't that like the Orange County of Texas?
It's kind of like the Seattle or Portland. So it's like a big red state with like one tiny blue dot in it.
Like, do you guys carry Grey Poupon in the car?
Dude, not really, but we like do a lot of hipster things, like, you know, eat like organic, and I actually have a recycling bin for recycling that gets picked up more often than the regular trash. You know, stuff like that.
Nice.
It's hipster stuff.
You are a hipster. People say I'm a hipster. You're a hipster.
Dude, have you seen me?
Well, I don't know what that means.
Like,
I have.
I'm totally like a frat guy hipster.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give you that. All right. Let's see. We've got some. You know what? I'm gonna do a station break.
Oh, we are.
You guys are listening to Cigar Chat, brought to you live on CigarFederation.com. Broadcast around the world in the Armed Forces Radio Network. We're here with Casey from Alec Bradley. And see, I didn't even try. I was going to screw up his name anyway, so I didn't. Even though it's not a hard name to say, I just keep screwing it up. We're talking about everything Alec Bradley, about how Logan's a chubby hipster.
Yeah. And we're talking about how many cigars Ace produces on a daily basis.
And nobody knows, but that's okay.
I'm assuming at least 100,000, right?
100,000 a day?
Yeah. I got to think. I mean, Drew Estate does 100 a day.
No, I don't.
Ooh, did we just lose him? We might have just lost him. So from that,
produces.
Say that again, Casey. We lost you there for a little bit.
I said I don't really think we produce 100,000 at Rice's. Now you got to understand, our production is broken up over 3 different factories.
Okay.
So maybe out of Rice's, the number is a little bit smaller than 100,000.
50?
50,000? 50,000 out of Rice's would equate to 1.5. 1.5 would be 15, 18 million cigars. They probably make about 12 to 15 million cigars a year out of Rice's, I would assume.
Okay. Let's get my calculator here.
So this is a topical question here from Stefan Lindblad. It's not Stefan. I was corrected yesterday.
It's Steph. It's whatever we want it to be.
It's Stefan. And maybe we should just stick with Stefan. I don't know.
Dude, I'm telling you.
Stefan's a good guy, and you're talking about Rice's Cubana, and not all of your cigars are made there. What other factories you guys come out of?
So we also make cigars. Plasencia makes some phenomenal cigars for us. Plasencia makes the Nicapuro. It's 100% Nicaraguan, and they make the Nicapuro is made there. The American Sun-Grown. Have you ever smoked the American Sun-Grown? That's one of our value line cigars.
Yes, I've actually
heard of it.
I smoked that one back. It's been around for a few years.
You know, surprisingly, some of the cigars that have amazed me the most out of our portfolio are some of our less expensive cigars. The American Sun-Grown, when I first got it, I'm like, value line, whatever. Why am I going to smoke? I got Tempest, I got Prensadas, I got all these cigars that they sent me. I really like that cigar. It has a really spicy, earthy flavor to it. And Plasencia makes some outrageously good cigars. What else you got, Rob?
Any other factories that you guys come out of?
They also make some stuff out of Tobacco de Orient.
Okay.
Which is also owned by Plasencia in Honduras.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, Google's telling me to please wait. So I'm going to scroll through some of these questions here. This one's from Garen Fry, and Garen also always asks really good questions. So there are quite a few lines from Alec Bradley, and we've touched on that a little bit. Which line would you steer a brand new customer who had never tried Alec Bradley cigar before? Which line would you point them at? Without knowing what kind of cigar smoker they are, if they like mild, medium, full, whatever.
Texas
Rob, that is one of the things that I think makes me a little bit unique in the industry. And I don't know if I'm one of the only ones that does it, but I am never one to just hand somebody a cigar. Because number one, I'm wasting a cigar on you if you don't like it, and number two, not every cigar is going to work for every person. So there's a lot of questions that I usually ask at an event before I will sell you a cigar. It's kind of like weird. Back in the day, I used to raise and breed chameleons. You familiar with chameleons?
Yeah, they're lizards, and they change
like the little iguana things.
Yeah, well, I used to breed and raise 2 different specific types of chameleons. One was a veiled chameleon. It came from Yemen. And the other one was a panther chameleon from Madagascar. The veiled chameleon takes 9 months for the eggs to hatch.
Good Lord.
The panther chameleon takes 16 to 18 months for the eggs to hatch. And they are one of the most evolved animals in the world. And so, long story short, I would wait all this time checking the incubator every day and taking care of them and moisturizing them and all this crap. and then they would hatch, and then I would raise them and feed them and stuff like that. There was no way I was going to sell them to somebody if I didn't ask them a bunch of questions to make sure that they would take care of it. Same thing with cigars to me. When somebody comes up at an event, I don't want to say, this is a great cigar, you got to smoke this, because it's stupid. It really is stupid. I see it all the time. I've gone to a lot of events where people just go, this is an outrageously good cigar, you got to smoke it. And I'm thinking to myself, how do you know I would even enjoy that cigar? You know,
Fair point.
It doesn't work that way. So most of the time when I do events, it's multiple different cigars, and I like people to mix boxes. And I ask a lot of questions, you know, how they take their coffee, what kind of alcohol they drink, and if you drink a scotch or a whiskey, what kind of scotch or whiskey? Is it a peaty scotch? Is it a smooth scotch? Which specific one do you like? You drink a bourbon. Do you like a weeded, sweeted bourbon? Do you like a spicy bourbon like a Knob Creek? So almost at the beginning of times when I started doing this, people would think I was interrogating them. Then when they found out that I was asking so many questions, so I was helping them, all of a sudden their trust level goes through the roof. They appreciate that.
Okay, let's do that.
I was going to ask, profile me.
Well, I was going to say me, but because I'm more interesting than you are.
Profile you, dude. You don't want to know where you belong.
That's deep levels of just.
So Casey, let's do that. Okay, so I'm walking up to you.
So let's say you're Joe. I just met you at a shop.
Perfect.
And you're a brand new guy. You've never smoked a cigar before.
Absolutely.
So when I was working in retail, this really helped me a lot to help pick out a cigar for new smokers. Joe, normally speaking, do you drink coffee?
I do.
How do you take your coffee?
I usually take my coffee black.
Black. No sugar, no milk.
Just black.
Alec.
And do you drink alcohol?
I do.
What do you normally like?
You know, I like a little bit of everything. I'm a big beer guy.
What's your go-to drink? If we're sitting at the bar and I say, I'm buying you a drink, what do you order?
Probably scotch.
Scott, what kind of scotch do you normally like?
You know, my favorite scotch right now is Lagavulin 16, so a little bit peaty.
Very peaty, right?
Yeah.
That's heavy on the peaty side.
It's not quite a Lafroig, but it's up there.
Okay, it's a 75-80% peaty. And you also like, if I know about you right, you probably like hoppy beer.
I do.
You do like hoppy beer. Do you like spicy food?
I do.
You do like spicy food. So your palate is going to lie between a medium to a full, and you're going to like spicy cigars. So from my profile of cigars that we carry, you're going to love the Tempest Nicaragua. It's a beautiful spicy cigar. It has 7 different components from 3 different regions in Nicaragua: Jalapa, Condega, and Esteli. It's actually a very complex cigar because it uses 7 different components rather than the average of 5 that most cigars use. You're also going to like the Tempest Natural. It has a spicy flavor to it also, and a lot of it has a good amount of lejero. You're also going to love the Post Embargo. So immediately, that allows me to understand your palate, and rather than sell you're a medium to full smoker and spicy, a Connecticut, right?
You know, it's funny though when you're talking about that. My cigar interests are so all over the place. And Logan was, even when you said that I would like a spicy cigar, Logan's like,
Nope.
Because when it comes to cigars, I'm a little bit different. So he's
a little bit of a weak sauce.
But I will say that the Tempest in general has been one of my favorites. Logan, how are we doing on time? We've got to be pretty close.
Let me get out this gadget that tells the time here.
We got about 15 or 20 minutes still.
No, dog. We got like 8:22:19. We
have 8 minutes left.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, for the main segment.
Yeah, we're just at 50 minutes. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I sandbagged you a little bit on that one because I'm all over the place with what I like with cigars.
But you're already a smoker.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different. When it comes to you actually pointed out, once you told me that the natural was reblended back to the original, that those are the 2 of the samples that you sent us. Those are the 2 that I'm looking forward to the most. So you did actually, in a way, you kind of nailed it. So that's good. Let's see. And this is a good question here. This one's from Jeff Madre. And I like this question because we asked him. We asked, and Jeff's relatively new to Cigar Federation, but he likes the craft beer, so he and I get along. And he's in North Carolina, which I've got some family over there, so it's all good. He says the Prensado. I always say it wrong.
Prensado means pressed.
It means what?
Pressed.
Prensado.
Prensado.
Prensado. The Prensado and the black market get a lot of attention, but which Alec Bradley blend do you feel is underrated and overlooked?
Ooh, good question.
Stumped him.
Stump the stoop.
I have the perfect answer for that. After 2 years of working for the company, last Super Bowl, I was sitting at home by myself. I live on the beach in Long Beach. So I have a really nice lounge, which is my living room. And I open all the windows. And the fresh ocean air blows in, and it's phenomenal. Swirls of smoke around the room. So long story short, I'm sitting there, and I have this Vino Temp wine fridge that I use for my cigars. It's 6 foot by 3 foot by 3 foot. It's massive. So I went in there, yeah, just like that. Absolutely. I figured that was your cigar fridge.
No, that's actually where all my beer is.
He's got a problem.
Don't tell anybody, but it's full of beer. Go ahead.
So I went into the humidor, and I was looking through what to smoke, and I came across the Alec Bradley Connecticut. I rarely smoke a Connecticut cigar. So I opened it up. There were 2-year-old Connecticut's, and I smoked one. And I wrote this large review on it. It's on there. It is actually a phenomenal Connecticut. It is one of the most flavorful Connecticut's I ever remember smoking. And it is probably the most underrated cigar in our portfolio because a lot of us in the company like fuller cigars. Because you know how it is. When you're a cigar geek, a lot of us cigar geeks smoke fuller, more flavorful cigars. It's a great Connecticut, man. It's a really great Connecticut. And me and Alan talk about it. He's like, yeah, it's surprising that when people try it and they're Connecticut smokers. And I'll put that up against any other Connecticut, man, and have somebody try it that's a Connecticut smoker. It's a very flavorful Connecticut.
Interesting. Logan, we'll have to get you one of those.
There's no tanginess. There's no metallic flavor that you get from some Dominican Connecticut's. And I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. You know, you get that tangy metallic flavor. There's none of that. It's just smooth. It's creamy. It's nutty. It's got a little bit of spice in the back of the palate. Really nice cigar.
Okay. Perfect. Let's see. So I'm going to jump into, get a little more topical here. This one is from Hardly Clerkin. There's a question here. Google's taking its time selecting the question. And I'm going to paraphrase his question here. So what was the idea, what was the reasoning behind, and as much as you can speak on it, changing the Filthy Hooligan into a barber pole this year? Now that is your St. Patrick's Day-ish release.
Sure. So I really don't think it was the question one more time real quick.
More or less, I'm going to paraphrase. What was the reasoning behind turning it into a barber pole this year?
So it wasn't a matter of reasoning. We had done Candelas for 3 years, and Alan wanted to do something totally different.
Just a tweak.
He's extremely innovative when it comes to creating cigars and brands and stuff like that. And really enjoyable to work with him because you can see the fire in the eyes when you look at him and when you talk to him. There's a lot of fire going on because he really loves what he does, and that's what he wanted to do. The flavor of the cigar is phenomenal. There's really a little bit of sweetness from the wrapper between the can.
I think we lost him a little bit there, Logan.
I know it goes.
So we lost you just a little bit there, Casey, and you were saying there's some sweetness between the Candela and
the Habano.
Habano, okay.
It's a beautiful cigar, really nice looking cigar. It looks really nice in the box. It's really nicely priced. It's 22 cigars in the box. It's about $8 MSRP.
Nice. Now, does this one have a little bit? This is another question here, and I can't remember who asked it, but does it have a little bit more of a kick to it, a little bit more bold than it has been in the past?
It's a black market cigar.
Okay.
So the blend is black market. It's a traditional black market cigar with a different wrapper.
Okay.
So that's where the flavor is going to change.
Okay. So adding in that extra
definitely more dimension and more complexity added with the wrappers.
Awesome. Another one here. This one's from Marty Messina, and I like this question. He says, when the Prensado got the #1 rating, which was 2 or 3 years ago, I believe.
2011, I think.
Wow, 5 years ago. Wow.
I think, or it might be
right?
12.
Anyway.
It was 11. You're right.
Yeah. When that came out, did that force a change in the strategy or pressure you guys to continue to I mean, I'll paraphrase a little bit. How did you guys react to that? I mean, did it?
I wasn't working for the company at the time.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you're right.
I wasn't working for the company at the time, and the guys that were working for the company in the key territories did extremely well.
So I'll rephrase it to kind of more fit where you are. Now,
Okay.
do you feel that pressure? Is that the kind of thing where it's like, hey, a few years ago we were able to get #1, let's try to do that again type of thing?
I really don't believe that #1 is a let's try to get it type thing, because it's really subjective. You got a panel of guys, sitting around smoking a cigar, and they're subjectively saying what they taste. Construction comes into play, great construction, great draw, that type of stuff. But, you got a panel of 7, 8, 9 guys. You got 2 guys that are full smokers, 2 guys that are mild smokers, so those guys cancel themselves out. You got the 5 guys in the middle with the medium palates, and that usually ends up winning. If you look at the cigars that win, it's usually a medium type of cigar. I was really surprised with this year's win, but I was actually happy because it's a cigar I really enjoyed.
Okay, yeah.
That's one of my favorite La Bijou's, actually, the one that won.
Oh,
the box press torpedo, phenomenal cigar.
Yeah, it's funny, man. Like that Cigar Aficionado rating, really, it has such an impact, and it's great for you guys when you get it, and then the cigars sell out because everybody and their mom comes in to buy it, but in a way it's kind of cool because it draws attention to a cigar that maybe somebody hasn't smoked before.
And sometimes it screws you. I'll give you an example.
There you go. That's what I was hoping for this.
When Oliva won, they won with a box-pressed Perfecto.
Yeah.
There's only one guy in the whole freaking factory that makes that cigar. They only made 3-4 boxes a year. Nobody freaking carried the cigar. Nobody bought the cigar. Everybody bought either the Robusto or they bought the Toro. It was a nightmare. They couldn't fulfill the product. And the weirdest thing is the consumer's like, nope, I don't want it in the Robusto. I don't want it in the Toro. I want it in the all of a sudden, everybody wants to smoke a Perfecto. They never smoked a Perfecto in their life. I heard that from the retailers. Nobody carried that size.
I can imagine. It's tough because, like you said, especially it's very specific size like that.
Ding ding.
It's tough. Okay, we got time for one last question because I really want to ask it, and this one is from. So we're going to need a quick answer on this one. Oh, that's not the right one. I clicked the wrong question. So we need an even quicker answer. Marty Messina wants to know, what is tougher? Is it launching a new line from your perspective? Launching a new line of cigars or keeping an old line going? What's tougher? The 60-second answer.
What's tougher? Probably launching a new cigar is tougher than keeping a cigar that's already doing well alive and rebuilding the brand.
Yeah. I was just curious because, maybe it's an older cigar that might not be doing well. It's just, it's an interesting question. It's something to think about because we, as a cigar community, we're always, what's new, what's new, what's new, what's new? But sometimes the cigar that you skipped from 2 years ago is really freaking good, and you should check it out.
A lot of times companies launch cigars, and, if you have a palate, you can tell the difference. And we say, hey, the cigar is fresh or it's young. And we know, try it in 2 months, try it in 3 months. Some companies are known for that. A couple of boutique companies that we love, and I'm sure we'll talk about it, they're so young. And I sit on them 2-3 months before I even touch them. Anejo. I buy Anejo almost every year. It's a cigar I really like. I smoked last year's, and I put this year's away for you.
Absolutely.
So, that happens sometimes. So a lot of guys that are new to cigars or that really don't know these type of things, it really turns them off because the cigars are not ready to go right out of the box. Luckily for us at Alec Bradley, most of the cigars, 99 out of 100, taste great right out of the box, fresh shipped. Of course, they get better with age.
Sure, of course, just like any other cigar. Casey, we're right up against it. Thank you so much. We're right up against the end of our Armed Forces Radio segment. Everybody, thank you for tuning in. Casey, let everybody know where they can find Alec Bradley online in 20 seconds.
AlecBradley.com. That's where you can find Alec Bradley. And you can always find me on Facebook, Casey Aldalami. And you can find me on Instagram at XS Cigars. XS and Cigars.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We'll be back next week with a fantastic guest that I don't have time to look up. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe, and we'll catch up with you next week.
And and we're fucking back.
Okay, now you can say fuck, shit, bitch, cockballs, whatever you want. You don't have to say earmuffs or anything. And that was a lot of fun. You're a good interview, Casey. I'll give you that. You answer questions very well in a way that it prompts more questions. I love it.
Thank you.
You make my job very easy. Logan didn't have to say shit, which was great.
I was too busy watching the fucking video of the moon going into goddamn space.
Now you're talking about like stratospheres and exostratospheres and all kinds of black holes.
What is different about this segment than the last segment? Who watches this segment?
Now this is
fucking really cool, people.
We're still live.
Okay.
So the guys who are watching us live can still see us. This is going to still exist on our YouTube channel, and we've very much earned the little E in the red square on our podcast channel, so all of our podcast listeners can still hear us.
Gotcha.
So everybody except for our Armed Forces Radio segment
Gotcha.
listeners can hear us.
Gotcha.
Now, we have a ton of questions here, and I feel like we got through the bulk of the really good ones.
Let's do the giveaway really quick before you ask any more questions.
We'll do some giveaways. How many are we giving away tonight, Logan? Are we doing
Well,
some
I've got... I mean, I'm not a good mathematician. I mean, I gave away a couple leading up to the show, to spark interest.
Okay.
And I think I got 10 5-packs left.
So we're picking 10 winners tonight? Well, let's just calm down. Let's everybody calm down.
Well, why don't you just
We'll dial it back, because
you're making this shit way more complicated, Rob.
We've got to pick a couple of podcast winners because our podcast.
Fuck, you know what?
Our podcast listeners are legit, and I email those to you every week, just like
that is fucking such horseshit.
Logan. I email those to you every week, and we'll pick a couple of winners this week, right? So we're gonna pick 2 podcast winners, and you know what? Let's switch it up. Podcast listeners, email Logan at cigarfederation.com and put podcast Rob is awesome in your subject line.
If you put that, you're not winning.
No. Podcast listeners, email Logan at Cigar Federation. We're gonna switch it up. And give us all your information, date of birth, so we know that you're old enough to smoke cigars.
Legal age to smoke tobacco, or to purchase tobacco in your current jurisdiction.
And we'll randomly pick 2 winners. Logan will probably not email you back like I do. So
I will not.
So it's just going to be one day you're going to go out to your mailbox and say, oh, shit, I won some Alec Bradley cigars.
Hey, but listen, I'll just say this, is that you'll get them lightning quick because they're already packaged up and ready to go.
They're already ready to go.
They're ready to go.
And so how many you want to pick tonight?
Well, we're giving away how many podcasts?
Let's give away 3 on the podcast. So we got 7 winners to pick tonight?
Yeah, let's pick 7.
Can I nominate, like, one guy?
Yeah, sure. Send a 5-pack to Tracy Drew.
To Tracy Drew?
I'm just joking.
You mean like
No, Tracy Drew asked a question.
Well, I'm thinking of Nancy Drew.
No, Tracy Drew asked a couple of questions, which we didn't get to.
All right, fine. Tracy Drew, email me, Logan at CigarFederation.com.
Do you know Tracy? I don't know Tracy.
Why are we making this so complicated? Email me, Logan at CigarFederation.com, Alec Bradley, full name and address, and you'll get some shit.
One winner I'm going to pick is Marty Messina, because Marty asked a couple of really good questions.
Good for you, Marty.
So, Marty, you're a winner. Tracy won. I'm going to ask one of Tracy's questions now, since Tracy won. What's next for Alec Bradley? Coming up. What are your goals for this year? It's a job interview question. There you go.
We just launched a bunch of phenomenal cigars. The Tempest Nicaragua, the Post Embargo, which is becoming it started out as a limited edition. Now it's going into full production.
Okay.
The Post Embargo is a very sexy cigar. The box is very sexy.
I do like a sexy cigar.
The cigars are very sexy. The box has actually become one of my new travel humidors for Lanceros. It's a strictly Lancero humidor. They make a Lancero on this cigar that's phenomenal. The Sanctum is extraordinary. It's a very complex cigar. Got number 15 last year. You got to try that. The Nicapuro Rosado is exceptional. So we've just launched a bunch of phenomenal cigars that, what do you do? What do you do to top that? I mean, we are right now at the apex of great cigars. We have some unbelievable cigars in our portfolio.
I'm excited. I'm personally excited because, Casey, I think you sent us one of everything. Just about.
I think so.
More or less. And, Logan doesn't really review cigars anymore because he's too good for that. So
I am too good. I'm such an asshole.
No, but you'll jump in on a couple of group reviews with me, I would assume.
I will.
We'll coordinate a few things, but no, I'm excited. We'll probably start with the post embargo and the Tempest Nicaragua. Those are the two newest, right?
Sweet. Please, anytime you do one of those, shoot me over a link.
Oh, absolutely, and we'll and you'll notice that the really good photos, those come from me.
Yeah, the shitty ones come from me.
And the ones with like the guy who's holding it and needs a little lotion on his hands, that's Logan.
God, put the lotion on. Put the lotion on.
Dude,
what's in the box? What's in the box? I always love it when somebody quotes a little Seven. That movie's creepy, isn't it?
That is a creepy movie.
I post a lot.
No, you were talking about no, not Seven. I got a mix.
You're talking about Silence of the Lambs, dog.
Silence of the Lambs, man. That's a faux pas.
That's a great fucking movie.
Those are both great movies, actually. They both creeped the shit out of me, really.
Dude, have you seen the new Bond?
I have not. I
was very disappointed.
Yeah, Jared hasn't talked about it. My wife and I do the Oscar challenge where we go and watch all these movies that are nominated for the big major awards. And I'm gonna be honest. I haven't seen the one that's probably gonna win everything. The one with Leonardo DiCaprio from the guy who directed Birdman. What the hell is it called?
Redemption?
Revenant. Revenant. We haven't
about?
watched that one yet. We're going to watch it this weekend. So everything else kind of sucks. I mean,
I liked Hateful Eight.
Hateful Eight was good. I don't like, and we've had this conversation.
What about The Room or The Box or whatever?
Now, I've got a story for both. Now, I'm not a big fan. I loved Quentin Tarantino at the beginning of his career, and he's gotten a little political for me lately, and some of the comments that he's made has kind of turned me off on him. But I watched The Hateful Eight, and it was really good. I don't know that Jennifer Jason Leigh really deserved any kind of nomination for her role, because it's a 3-hour movie, and she said like 75 words. Like, she didn't say a whole lot. But I liked the film. It was really, really good. The Room, it turned out, and it's funny, we talked about Russian River. The day that I went to Russian River was the same day that I watched Room. And I got home, and I wasn't drunk because I drove the whole time. Like, I had a couple of beers.
I wasn't drunk.
I wasn't. I drove to Russian River. I drove home. When I got home, I had a few beers as well. But then we went to see the movie, and about halfway through, I got this mega headache. And it turned out I was
coming down, dog.
I was like severely dehydrated. It was bad times. I thought the kid in Room was fantastic, and the fact that little kid wasn't nominated for an award was kind of a travesty. But the movie itself was It wasn't great.
Okay.
You got any more good questions?
I'm sorry?
You got any more questions?
Oh, we do. We were just talking about movies, though. You're trying to bring us back to cigars?
You're trying to make us actually
Oh,
do
come
something?
on. This is the After Dark segment. We talk about all kinds of bullshit. Let's see. I've got a bunch of questions here from Joe Urjevic. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one's from Joe. And let's see. He says, I have a friend who's starting out with cigars. He likes a creamy and smooth, mild to medium smoke. I like a creamy and smooth, mild to medium smoke. He likes red wine blends from Orin Swift. That's very specific.
Yeah.
And mostly drinks Eagle Rare bourbon. I like Eagle Rare. A little bit
I
sweet.
love Eagle Rare. That's one of my regulars.
A little bit sweet, not too spicy. And for the price, very, very good. But he says, based on Orin Swift and Eagle Rare, and he likes a creamy, mild, medium to smooth, what would you suggest?
I would definitely have him try the Connecticut, the Alec Bradley Connecticut.
Absolutely.
With the Eagle Rare, if we were talking strictly pairings, not knowing about the consumer, not knowing about the person smoking the cigar, right now I really like the Tempest Nicaragua with that type of bourbon.
Interesting.
That type of sweeter bourbon. I did an event in San Francisco last week with Glenn Feddick. We do a lot of stuff with Glenn Feddick, Scotch.
Wait a second. I work for the San Francisco Giants. I live like 15 minutes outside of San Francisco. How did I not get an email?
I was strictly doing this on their behalf.
You at was it the Super Bowl event?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? It was last Thursday, Logan.
Yeah,
it was last Thursday. I was this close to going to that event, but we had our Cigar Chat with Pete Johnson last week, so I decided to do that show as opposed to going to the event. How was that?
I didn't do the Jaws event. We had a separate event.
Oh, okay.
at the Bentley Reserve. Are you familiar with the Bentley Reserve, which is the old Federal Reserve building?
I know the area, and I know the Federal Reserve building. I'm not familiar with the Bentley.
Unbelievable. It was an old Federal Reserve building that they converted to this conference rooms and halls, and it's just spectacular place to have an event. It was
I'm going to say one thing. When you say Bentley Reserve, it sounds like it's out of my price range.
Yeah, that's a great coupon. But anyway,
yeah, absolutely.
It was for it was called the Modern Man American Express Black event.
Wow.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, that's also out of my price range.
Yeah, I hear you, bro. I hear you. And you should have seen some of the beautiful-looking ladies that were there. And,
Mamacita.
A lot of athletes there. A lot of athletes there, a lot of different people. But anyway, we were pairing our cigars with Glenfiddich Scotch.
Mm.
One of the scotches that Glenfiddich makes that I really like that goes with our cigars really well is the 15-year-old. It has a lot of rich fruit flavors, a lot of honey. In fact, I was drinking that last night with a Tempest Nicaragua.
Mm.
And it goes really, really well with a little bit spicy cigar. It's just beautiful balance of the fruity flavors to the Nicaraguan rich tobacco. When I do pairings, I like stuff that doesn't have the same profile. They kind of interwork. It really goes well with a pairing like that.
Now I'm gonna put you on on Front Street here a little bit, because on Cigar Federation we actually have another show called Sharing Our Pairings, where we pair cigars with different bourbons, whiskeys, beers, coffee, that kind of thing. And I'm going to go ahead and when we get offline, I'm going to email you and we'll set that up, because I want to have you on our pairing show as well. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Sure.
I managed to get to one event for Super Bowl week, and I'm a graphic designer by trade, so one of my clients had me do some a little bit of sales at an event at the Bespoke Lounge in the it's just in the Westfield Shopping Center, Westfield Mall on Market, okay. And it was an NFL PA event, so it was just NFL Players Association, so retired and current players, and it was a lot of fun, man. It was really cool. I got to spend a little time with Wendell Tyler. I'm an old school 49er fan. Grew up in the '80s, so yeah, I got to chat with Wendell Tyler. That was a lot of fun. If Roger Craig would have been there, it would have been even better. But it was really cool to see some of these guys who have played the game and lived that lifestyle and kind of chat with them a little bit. It was really, really cool.
I was a Niners fan back in the day. I really was a fan of that team. Jerry Rice was one of the guys I really liked.
Absolutely. And
Jerry Rice Jr. was at this event that I did.
Oh, nice.
Great kid. Really nice kid. He's playing up in Montreal right now.
Nice. Yeah, that's a tough when you talk about carrying a moniker into a specific sport. I know that Joe Montana Jr. I'm just out in Concord, California, where De La Salle High School is, and Joe Montana Jr. went to De La Salle, I believe. And
isn't that the one that won the national championship like 100 times in a row?
Yeah, they like never lose.
Every time I come to Northern California, that's where I stay, is in Concord.
Next time you come up, dude, we got to hang out. This is
I stay there because the Best Western Plus on Clayton has smoking suites.
That is literally walking distance from my house. This is kind of crazy.
There you go.
Absolutely.
Not cool.
It's weird. This is like a Match.com right now.
As long as I don't have to, hang out with Logan, we're all right.
Trust me, Logan's
you won't. Texas. No, you're good. Yeah, he's fine.
You won't have to, bro.
So we've got some winners. Logan, you're going to contact the winners directly.
Sure.
I'm looking at these questions, and I feel like we covered most of them. Casey, I'm gonna let you go, because we said we'd have you for about 70 minutes. We've gone a little bit over time. It's been a lot of fun chatting with you. Definitely want to have you on one of our pairing shows, so we can pair up some Alec Bradley and some Scotch. John, who's the guy who actually hosts that show, I'm the co-host on that one.
John Reiner?
I'm sorry?
John Reiner?
Yeah.
Nice guy.
That was
that's fucking Canadian.
That's kind of creepy that you actually knew who John Reiner was, but yeah.
You guys don't think that I follow you guys?
No, well, that's you actually did give us some. You gave me some nice compliments for the show when we spoke on the phone, and
you actually watch this shit show?
I do appreciate that.
I have watched you guys a bunch of times. You guys put on a good show. I've watched you guys a bunch of times. I've seen you with Skip Martin. I've seen you with a bunch of the shows.
We got to get Skip back on. It's been a while.
No, fuck that.
Logan and Skip have like a a matador and bull relationship. It's very strange.
Really?
Yeah, we're not doing that.
I really only, honestly, Casey, I only hear Logan's side, and Skip seems like a very fine gentleman to me. So, I don't know. I think Logan might be full of shit, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't think so, Rob, because you know the stories, and I am not at fault on this.
No, I like.
Okay, save the story till we get offline, and we'll talk.
Yeah, it's about to get real, guys. We're gonna log off and talk about the real shit, and you guys don't get to hear it. But again, thanks so much for checking in another episode of Cigar Chat. Next week, Logan, you're supposed to have this, but you don't. So I'm gonna look it up.
I just signed off the website.
Oh, we've got Vivalo cigars because 2.0 because Patrick, yeah, from 1.0 Patrick we had some technical issues that time, so I'm looking forward to that. So that'll be fun.
Nice guy.
Yeah, Patrick's a good dude, and we've got Patrick coming up, and then the week after that is going to be Cigar Chat live from Cigar Safari with John
in Nicaragua.
And Logan are going to be down in Nicaragua, so that'll be fun.
We may or may not have some epically big breaking news dropped from Fabrica di Drew Estate.
This is news I don't even know about.
No, like you don't even know. Like it could be
that's
epic.
ESPN next month.
I don't know, dog. You'll just have to tune in and motherfucking find out like everybody else.
We'll see. And then we've got, after that, we're booked up for a while. And then we've got Mombacho Cigars. Claudio from Mombacho. I'm excited about that. They make some really good stuff. And then Crux on March 10th.
No,
Crux, Joel?
Yeah, Joel comes on, and then I don't know if we'll have...
No, probably it'll be Casey and
the rest of the crew.
Who's the other one?
Casey and Joel. We've had Joel a couple of times.
Yeah.
Out here in Arizona. We're going to hang out after here.
Nice. Yeah.
Espinosa. There's, the camaraderie in this cigar.
It's Eric's birthday. Happy birthday, Eric.
It is Eric's birthday. We're going to take him out for drinks.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, you'll have to ask him about...
Hey, ask him how his knot's doing.
How is what?
His knot.
The knot.
His knot. It's
say Logan wanted me to ask you how's your knot doing.
Okay, knot.
And he'll know exactly what we're fucking talking about.
He'll tell you the rest of the story.
Knot.
He'll tell you, how's the knot? No, that's good. So we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and then later in March, I think we've got the trifecta of Casey, Dan, and Casper from Atelier, so that'll be a lot of fun.
That's too many people on one show.
No, it's going to be a ton of fun, dude. That's going to be fun. That show's going to go by in like 6 seconds. But, Casey, thanks so much, man. It's been a pleasure to hang out with you. A lot of fun, man. I'm looking forward to smoking these cigars, getting some reviews posted up.
It was a lot of fun. I really, really enjoyed it. Thanks to the guys in the Cigar Federation for having us. Thanks for you guys for smoking our cigars. We really, at Alec Bradley, really, really appreciate the guys that smoke our cigars. Absolutely.
Thanks so much. Appreciate it. Guys, thanks for checking into the Cigar Federation. You can find us at cigarfederation.com. You can find me at Robbie Raz on Twitter. Logan is at Smokin' Logan on Twitter, at Cigar Federation.
Something.
Yeah, you can check us out there. Appreciate it. Everybody have a great weekend. Stay safe. Smoke something good. Come to cigarfederation.com. Tell us about it. Download the app if you don't have it. I don't know how you wouldn't have the app, but if you don't, download it and check in. Join the conversation. We'll see you guys next week.
Thank you.
Later, hippies.